everyone. Good evening. How you all are doing? So, thank you for joining our Lighthouse session for today, tonight. All right. So it has been a lot of hustle and a lot of struggles throughout the year. We also do have some good news and also does have a lot of changes in our life of 2020 and looking forward for the new year of 2023. So for the as a startup for the new year, I believe many of you would like to make a lot of new changes in yourself. There is something that you want to input in yourself, a positive changes. So in order to add on to that, so today I would like to talk about self-care. So I think I'm not sure how many of you have been practicing self-care in your daily routine and things about that. And also, what is your knowledge about self-care? I'm gonna just share a little bit of my experience and knowledge on self-care, which might be beneficial for you for a new startup of 2023. All right. Okay. All right. So, self care, there are a lot of things in self care. It's not only about taking care of yourself in the sense of physical, but also it involves mental issues, mental health as well. So, I'm gonna guide you for the next of an hour. How does this self care going to guide you throughout um, your physical and mental health being? All right, so we shall get started. Right, so this is just an introduction. Yeah, my name is I am Miss Ree, trainee counselor from Unit 10 Counseling Unit. So, yeah, give yourself the same care and attention you give to others and watch yourself bloom. Yeah, I think the most common mistake which has been done by most of us is, the attention, the care that you give to others is much more, the ratio you spend and show respect to others is much more higher than what you do for yourself. So, I think pretty much about that we're going to look into. All right. So, let's get started. All right. What is self-care? Maybe you'd like to put some ideas of what do you think about self-care on the comment section while we go through on that. Okay. Self-care is something which have been uh, some people, they have been practicing self-care since a very long ago without realizing it's self-care, and some people don't think that self-care is essential in their life because they feel that they are doing good, they are doing great already at all times. So have you done any self-care practices in your life? I'm going to tell you what are the examples of self-care in further slides. I will discuss on that. And also, I would like to know what is your perception towards self-care. People have this mentality and thoughts like self-care. Oh, this is something pretty very normal. Why you need to really look into that? Does that really make sense? Does that really make a difference into our life? Yes, it definitely going to brings a lot of difference in your life. How much time you spend how much time you spend for yourself, you invest for yourself is pretty much about how are you going to be, you're preparing yourself for a better person tomorrow. So when it comes to self-care, it's not about physical wise, it's about the perhaps the appearance, the dress you wear, your hairstyle, what else if you have, your hair color. It does not only matters about that. The most thing when I ask students, especially when I ask people to give me a term for self-care, the most common answer I would receive is they always give is about skincare. You always talk about skincare. They think skincare is all about self-care. Yes, skincare is a part of self-care. It is not all about it. It's just a small part of it because we see a lot of beauty products which is in the markets, and it focuses more on the outer self of a person rather than inner self. All right. So, as I told about the perception towards self care, I think I hope this session and after this session, your perception or your thoughts about self care would might change if you have a negative thought or if you feel that this is not important as other things. All right. Okay, types of self care. There are actually a lot of different types. First is physical, social, mental, spiritual, and emotion. I'm pretty sure a lot of you have heard of this physical type of self care. As I mentioned, skincare is one of it, and mental. So these are the most two common things where readers spoke, and we also talk about and all these things. Throughout this session, I'm going to explain further about what are those types of self care and why does it important for you to practice them in your daily life. Right, so physical self-care, take care of your body. Okay, take care of your body in the sense of you can exercise, you can like go for a walk, make yourself feel better. So this because there is a strong connection between your body and your mind. When you go for a walk, when you jog, when you spend time for yourself, you sweat out. So there's this a great feeling and a great connection for your body to your mind. Okay, so that's a kind of self-care I think you should practice. I think everybody knows that a healthy living, a healthy lifestyle, we should practice about going exercising at least like 3 to 4 times a week. It also includes your food intake. What kind of food you consume is very important when you talk about self-care. Apart from that, it also included the amount of sleep. A person, I think an adult requires to sleep like 7 to 8 hours a day, and a child it is more than that. So I think adequate sleep amount is very important in order for you to take care of yourself. The amount of sleep you have will makes you feel more energetic and refreshing the next day. So it is very important. And also the most one of the thing that I think as we Asians, especially Malaysians, we don't really focus much on of is healthcare appointment. So I think when you take care of your body in terms of your mind and body, I think healthcare appointment is something you have to look forward. Time to time you spend, like especially like a 6 months once, you go and visit, get a regular checkup, just a checkup for your body pressure and all these things. So just to know what are the things that you're currently you're doing, you're maintaining, is that good enough or something you need to improve. Perhaps like right now you does morning jog, for example. So maybe after this healthcare appointment, your doctor advised you to add an extra 30 minutes in your self-care, which means you add the extra 30 minutes to your morning jog. These kind of things to know where we are, what we are currently up to, how is our body at currently. So I think it is pretty much important, how to take care of yourself. So this healthcare appointment is also included in physical self-care. All right, so let's look to the next one. Social self-care. Your social circle, it's hard to make time for friends, and it's easy to neglect your relationship when life gets busy. Yeah, so in this rapid growing lifestyle, we have a lot of things going on. Sometimes even we don't have time for ourselves. I think you should allocate, like maybe like a week once you go out, hang out with your friends, have a drink, coffee or something like that. Spend time with your friends. Share your experience about your daily life. What are you going through, and also to be an attentive listener as well. You can be a good listener to your friend as well. You that's how you how to say you bound your social circle. You always get yourself engaged with people. It's not always about if studying. It's not about all day study and work. You literally need to spend some time for your personal self. So that's why I'm mentioning about social self-care. How much socialized you are, it is important for your mental health and your body as well. So you look at this. The next one is close connection are important to your well-being. So what they mean as close connection here is it can be either your family, your siblings, it can be your best friend, maybe your romantic partner. It can be anyone, someone you feel you're close with, someone you feel you are very connected, someone who you like to share even good and bad things. Someone you have by your side. So that's what they say, close connection are important to your well-being. So you see a lot of people who who have these suicidal thoughts, and all these people are many times if you see their social circle is very small. So social circle is very important. Cultivate and maintain close relationship is to put time and energy into building a relationship with others. So I think you need to work on to put a little bit effort, meeting up friends at time to time, like hanging out with them. So this it does not only to build a relationship, it also to sustain a relationship you currently have. A lot of us like literally lost contact with our friends because we get too busy with our life, and literally we don't go out, we don't spend time with them. So I think that's equally important as what I mentioned about physical self-care earlier. So this is pretty much a little bit about social self-care. Okay, moving on to mental self-care. So the way you think, you have this. I'm not sure how many of you have heard about this law of attraction. This thing that thoughts, you become what you think. The positivity, it inhale in the positivity that you inhales in yourself is a person who you become. Okay, what you feed your mind is important as what you feed in your tummy. Yeah, so that's what I meant. So when I said feed your mind with good things, you can listen to some good music, you can have some good cultivating conversation with your friends, something knowledgeable, something which is very beneficial for both parties. Can read up some good books, something which books which brings curiosity in yourself, books which answer all your questions, questions about life, books which provide you different thoughts, a different perspective and all that. Sorry, yeah, this picture got blocked a bit, right? So learning new things, so that's very important as well. Learning new things for yourself within you. So yeah, I did mention about reading books, watching a movie. You can also, yeah, because watching a movie provides us a different perspective of things. And also we are aware about, because currently you see a lot of movies based on current issues, social lifestyle and all that. So you can aware about what's happening around you. And also puzzle, also all this does help to take care of your mental health. You put all your work, all your studies aside and spend time for this, a little bit of all these things. It will make you a bit refreshing, re-energetic and all these things. Right, moving on to the next one. All right, spiritual self-care, not necessarily related to religion. So yeah, when I talk about spiritual, people automatically thinks about religion. No, it's not about religion. It's about the connection towards you have with the universe. You go for a morning walk, you spend time, you watch the bird chirping, this kind of things. You have the connection with the universe, whether you enjoy meditating, attending a religious service or praying spiritually. Self-care is important, so it's up to you. uh, when I said spiritual, it's not necessarily religion, but if you feel that religion is giving you faith, if you feel that religion is providing you strength and courage in your life, it is good for you. It is always, we are always welcome religion as a spiritual self-care. But I'm just saying that it's not the only, because when people talk about spiritual care, we always think about religious. It's about meditating, yoga, understanding your inner self. All that also is included as spiritual self-care. All right, moving on to the next one. All right, so these are the things. I think I pretty much have explained all those self-care. So how do you execute all this self-care in your life? So you develop a self-care plan for yourself. Customize your own self-care plan. Like you can come out with a planner. Maybe like you have a planner saying that every week I need to go for movie, perhaps like end of the week. One, I would like to watch like at least 2 movies a day. Sorry, not a day. Sorry, a month. These kind of things. So it's okay if it doesn't. If your plan doesn't goes accordingly as what you think, it is okay. It's totally fine. So don't get overstressed. I have to be on this plan. I have to follow this. No, it doesn't matter. As long you plan and you try to execute something to do for yourself, that's already good enough. It shows the self care you have for yourself. All right, try to do something you enjoy every day. Yeah, self care is a part of the things that you do. You know, like play with your pet. This kind of things does comes in self care. Something which you can do for yourself. It make you feel good. Maybe you can. Maybe you're a person who like to cook. Cook something for yourself and also for your family. These kind of things. Establishing simple habitual actions. Okay, so, simple habitual actions here mentioned. For example, I did mention saying about this cooking. So maybe the one you can make it as a habit. It's rather than getting a food outside. It's very healthy to cook and make your own meals and all that. So that's pretty much about establishing simple habitual actions. Okay, so example of self care. You can develop a regular sleep routine. Like you have this alarm. Nowadays we have this smartwatch. We always indicate how much sleep you have, whether it's a quality sleep, whether it's a disturbed. So you can put on and that and have a track on it. And also, before you sleep, definitely you set an alarm. You can look into it, and you have to keep a track about your self-care. Example, how much sleep you required. Let's say yes, 2 days you didn't have enough sleep. I think the third day you're supposed to accommodate all the sleep, which is, lack of sleep will lead you to lack of energy, which tired, exhausted, will disturb your emotion as well, because your emotion get disturbed, and you don't literally focus much on what are you supposed to do, this kind of things and all that. Okay, aim for a healthy diet. So healthy diet, when I talk about healthy diet, it not only revolves about exercising, workout in the gym like 3 to 4 hours. It's not about that. A healthy diet, it involves like you like to have a workout like each day like 15 to 20 minutes. That's pretty enough ready for a startup. Yeah, definitely this is about all about starting up, since this is a 2023. So I like you to just try any of these methods which I would explain to you, because today morning when I was listening to this radio, so there was this survey saying that 2023 people have, a lot of Malaysians have comes out with this goal. So the most important goal, they say the prominent one people are looking forward is to lose weight. So I think you have to include that lah in self care as well. Yeah, yeah, losing weight is a term of self care as well. If you feel, if you're not doing good, if you feel you don't look good, you want to improve something about yourself, yeah, you can work on it. It's nothing wrong about that. All right, so coming back to what we were discussing earlier. All right, aim for a healthy diet. Yeah, healthy diet is about you can take, for example, you can park your car far from your office, your uni perhaps. Take a walk, and then take the staircase rather than taking the lift. At the end of the day, just track your steps each day. So these are the simple things when it comes to healthy diet. And also apart from that, when it comes for food, try to eat more veggies and fruits, and then try to drink a lot of water. This is something which I've been saying very commonly. All right, and then also those who are having, you don't get time to have lunch at home, try to pack something from at home, like a small simple lunch, rather than having food outside. It's unhealthy. At the same time, it would help you to just save your money, right? So I think because nowadays food outside is pretty much, we're spending too much on that. So maybe like, that's how you try to make a healthy diet. When I said, there's actually, if you go online, or if you read through, there's a lot of methods for healthy living, healthy lifestyle, healthy diet and stuffs like that. Because when I did mention saying about drink water, it's people said it's pretty difficult to have like a plain water like that. So I have seen that people just add a little bit lemon on it, cucumber water, for example, just add strawberries, like with the water and all that. So that makes you feel good. All right, so So that's the second one. So let's look at the third one. Take lunch breaks. Okay, this is especially for those who are too busy with their work and studies. You don't literally. I have seen people who have lunch by doing their work. In their laptop, and then next to it they just have that one scoop and then do their work one scoop. So that literally shows you're not spending time. You're not allocating time for yourself in terms of lunch. Lunch is not only for the purpose of you having lunch, it is also having food, it is also about you taking breaks in between. So when you have lunch, maybe perhaps you have a conversation with your colleagues or your friends and all that. So once after your lunch, you take a break, like go for a walk, you listen to some good music. So it is definitely very important to take lunch breaks. Do not skip lunch. Do not sit in front of PC and have lunch unless there is no one. You are watching movie, having lunch. It is okay, but it's not advisable, because you will be not very mindful of what are you eating. So yeah, maybe after the lunch you can go for a walk at lunchtime. When you feel a bit full. Maybe you overeat, or maybe you're like you didn't you add like a sugary drink or something like that. You just go for a walk after lunch, because the moment, usually if you see our lifestyle, especially students or those who are working adults, after your lunch hour you immediately come back to your seat. So you'll be like seated for hours after that. So it's not healthy. It will, I mean, put on belly fat and all that. So maybe you can go for a walk after lunch, just a normal, simple, slow walk, and then. All right. Apart from this thing, when some people says that I don't feel good like walking alone, I need a partner or something like that. Yeah, you can take your dog for a walk after work. If you feel that you don't have time, those who are having pets, Amanda. So if you feel that you're not having enough time in the morning, you come back, you just go have a walk with your dog. Take around the garden, around your residential area, right? So maybe you can just pit stop there, talk to your neighbor. This kind things, how you there are a lot of things revolving around us. It's just we don't really allocate time for that. We feel that we're too busy. Yeah, I do understand all of us are too busy, but I think this is something which you need to practice in your lives. So I think doing this kind of thing, it does not going to take so much of your time. So I also have heard people who don't use sick leaves even they are like very sick and all that. So I think that you should consider that sick leave is something which has been like they have the company has provided to you. So I think you have to make use of it. So because you're not sick means you're not well. You need to spend some time for yourself. You have to be at home, rest, and this kind of things. All right, and yeah, so this is pretty much about the same one. Get some exercise before and after work regularly. So which means like you spend some time with your for yourself. It's not about you can when I say this, all you go for a walk together. You even can join all this. We have a lot of marathons going on, and then a lot of walks, like fun walk and all these things. You can even join them since you feel like it's a kind of boring plain walk every day. I would like to do. So these are the things that you does. Example of self-care. There's actually a lot of self-care plans which I didn't include here because there is a plenty of them. So these are the examples, like you plan things whatever you do does for yourself, it is included as self-care. There is this people that question me asking, because I heard people say that shower is a self-care. Yeah, it is a self-care, because some people when they feel too tired, too exhausted and all these things, a hot shower would make them feel much more better, make them feel calm, these kind of things. So it depends on you. This self-care, it's not whatever I've mentioned here is just an example of self-care which I've mentioned. There's actually plenty, as I told earlier. So your self-care might be a little bit different from others. That's okay. That's fine. That's nothing wrong about it. Maybe you like to um, have a coffee, so you feel like having coffee, it's a self-care, you feel refreshing, you feel a kind of like awakening and all that. So that's your way. It's not, it's, how to say, it is totally, there is no right and wrong. As long it is beneficial to yourself, to your mental health, to your body, as long it gives you a positive energy, positive vibes, then it's good enough. All right. Okay, so all right, so that's about it for my session today about self care. If you have any questions, you can put it down on the comment section. So thank you for listening, all of you. So at the end of the after the session, I would provide the Quran link where you all can fill it up and yeah, so it has been, I think,